What up? You're checking out another Braille Sounds, and today we're gonna check out how I sequence and chop up breaks on my modular system. Breaks are something that I use in a lot of my music, and usually the way I chop them and set them up in a song is really meticulous manual slicing in Ableton and exporting like brief chunks with crazy effects built up. It's been interesting to move away from that to something that was more organic, more live, but definitely less intricate. And the way that I kind of come to terms with all of that for all of this is the song isn't finished until I go into Ableton and arrange it. I'm not really the type who considers the live jam or whatever, you know, on these videos or otherwise, to be the finished song. To me, that is the seed. It's not the song. You know, for chords, for breaks, all the stuff that I'm doing in here, we still go into Ableton afterwards and we arrange the song, we add things, we remove things. That's really where the song matures and is finished. Even if the breaks are loopy here, I can always go back into Ableton when we've recorded it in and modify it, make it more intricate, add new breaks even if I want to. But what this does give me is a really immediate way to feel inspired, keep the momentum going in the studio whenever I'm working on something, which is really important, especially when you don't have that much time in here and you're like, I just want to get something done. I want to make a beat, whatever. Getting stuck is the worst. Like debugging technical issues in the studio, in your computer or otherwise, is not great. It's not the most fun. Having everything out here and kind of be set up and ready for me to come in here and start writing with has been a huge game changer. It's one of the best changes I've made to my process. So today we're going to check out some breaks. We're going to breeze through the chords. We went over the chords last time, how I make the chord progressions looped on my modular system. So we're going to really focus on the Synths sample drum. That's what I use for chopping the breaks. It's got a little SD card. You can take it out, put it in your computer, load up a bunch of breaks. And if you're wondering, you know, where do I even get these breaks? You don't have to go and like record off YouTube like Almond Brother or Think Break or something. Like the breaks are a dime a dozen these days. You can find some really nice reproductions even of the classics if you need to. Sites like Splice, Native Instruments has their own sample library. Also, I'd recommend if you're looking for some breaks, there is this guy, Ian Hits Drums, dope breaks. He can play at a really high tempo and keep it locked in. So if you're looking for some more high tempo drum and bass or jungle breaks, he's got a lot of examples of that. I tend to slow his stuff down actually. We've got the Verbos Multistage over here. That's what I use to actually do the sequencing. So the Voltage Multistage has a few things that we're going to be using here. It's got these switches up top, and the switches determine, is this step going to play? So down is yes, in the middle is off, and then at the top is slide. So with slide, you're going to get some interesting unexpected slices chosen. Voltage Multistage has a buddy over here, the sequence selector. I'm barely using it. All this is doing is allowing us to loop between these two sets of the sequence, like one after another. So it'll play these 8 steps, and then it'll play the next 8 steps, and it'll loop back to these. That's all this is doing right now. But you can do a lot of crazy stuff with this, and if you're into self-patching and all that, you can go crazy. The drums, the samples, and the breaks, all that is actually going up here to the ALM Mummate. It's actually trying to reproduce the sound of like an Akai filter from back in the day. So it's pretty perfect for breaks if you want that old school sound, I guess you could call it at this point. And we're still gonna use our other drums. So we've got our Ultra Kick, our Ultra Perc, our Fracture, and then both our Squid and our Synths sample drum. So we'll definitely use some of that as well. Let's get a kick going just to get a foundation for this. We gotta load up a break. We've got our break here. We need to chop it up. So you can see down here at the bottom is slices, and we're gonna pick 8 slices because we've got our 8 steps here. So I kind of like that, except the kicks are getting pretty repetitious. So this is where these switches come in handy. At least for the sound I go for, we can put in an amplitude envelope. That's the full sustained sample. I actually like chopping it a ton to give other things more space in the mix, unless I'm really going all in and the break is the core of the song. Let's get a chord going. Filter this down. Nice halftime vibe. Add some alternating Odessa staves. And one other way that we can start adding some more variation is actually through our multi-delay. And you might be seeing a bit of a pattern here. I love Verbos modules, and the reason is they aren't very precise. So a lot of the chance hits you're getting here, some of the unexpected, subtly randomized hits that we're getting here are actually just because once in a while the length of the gate for that step, it'll go on past the next step and that'll cause a different slice to be hit. Having these little random bits, once you get over it, you're like, well, I don't even have control over every single hit, and that to me is actually freeing. Let's add a clap from the ALM squid sample. So one other thing, like I was saying, that we can do to sort of add that bit of chance, that bit of variation, is use the multi-delay. Make sure you keep your input down a tiny bit, get some subtle sort of variation in the drums. Oh, this is amazing. The Symphonian's bugging out. That's why we're getting the progression we're getting. There we go. I hope this gave you a little bit of inspiration for chopping up, sequencing your own breaks, either outside the box, in the box, wherever your breaks are served. And yeah, until the next time.